Greetings from the Cooperatives unit of the International Labour Organization. As you may know, the ILO is the specialized agency of the UN on the world of work issues. It recognizes the relevance of cooperatives to its mandate toward achieving social justice and full employment since its foundation in 1919. In 2019, the ILO will celebrate the centenary, looking into how the future of work can be built on decent work standards. This effort is also closely linked to the 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development recognizes that eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions is the greatest global challenge and an indispensable requirement for sustainable development. Its 17 Sustainable Development Goals are universal, applicable to all countries, and bring three dimensions of sustainability: economic, social, and environmental together. What does the 2030 Agenda say about cooperatives? Although cooperatives serve the triple bottom line of the 2030 Agenda as economic, social, and environmental actors, there are no targets or indicators that refer to cooperatives and the SDGs. Cooperatives have, however, been recognized as means of implementation for the 2030 Agenda, along with other private sector enterprises. Unfortunately, the fact that cooperatives are sustainable enterprises owned and run by their members and are built on values that encourage cooperation, empowerment, and solidarity is not integrated into the thinking of the 2030 Agenda. In responding to this situation, the International Cooperative Alliance launched a Coops for 2030 campaign that aims to expose cooperatives to the SDGs, get them to make pledges to continue to achieve them, and report on their progress. This initiative also creates an opportunity for cooperatives to position themselves as partners with global, national, regional, and local institutions to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. The 2018 edition of the World Cooperative Monitor also provides an analysis of the top 300 cooperatives in the world in terms of turnover and looks into their contributions to the SDGs. At the ILO, as chair of the Committee on the Promotion and Advancement of Cooperatives, we have initiated a series of briefs providing reflections on how cooperatives contribute to each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We also conducted a survey with 300 respondents from primary cooperatives, cooperative unions, federations, cooperative support institutions, governmental and non-governmental organizations on contributions of cooperatives to the SDGs. The respondents noted that the themes of the SDGs are well aligned with the priorities of cooperatives. Many of them indicated the high potential of cooperatives and cooperative movement to contribute to achieving the goals. They identified Goal 1, on ending poverty, and Goal 8 on creating jobs as priority areas where they contribute greatly. These priorities were followed by Goal 2 on ending hunger and Goal 5 in achieving gender equality. The importance of decent work in achieving sustainable development is highlighted by Goal 8, which aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. The ILO's primary focus and lead is on Goal 8, but its actions also have an impact on other goals and targets. I would now like to take a few moments to reflect on cooperatives as it relates to SDG 8. Today, the world of work is at a crossroads with the need to create over 600 million new jobs globally by 2030 to keep pace with the growth of the working population. In addition, the quality of jobs will need to be improved in order to enable women and men to lift themselves out of poverty and informality. Cooperatives can contribute to SDG 8 by creating stable employment, advocating and promoting social protection for all, as well as complying with international labor standards and more specifically fundamental principles and rights at work. It has been estimated that the livelihoods of nearly half the world's population is secured by cooperative enterprises, from agriculture and housing to finance and retail. There are also new types of cooperatives growing in numbers, from social and worker cooperatives to cooperatives of gig economy workers. Cooperatives are job providers. They employ at least 272 million people worldwide. In the G20, cooperative employment makes up almost 12% of the total employed population. Most cooperatives have their own employees to achieve their own goals and economic activities as mandated by their members and users. In this sense, cooperatives use the same kind of work form as other types of enterprises based on the employer-employee relationship. Worker cooperatives are another organizational model with a specific democratic governance structure of member worker owners, where decisions are made by those directly involved in the enterprise. Any type of business can be a worker-owned and controlled business as a cooperative, and worker cooperatives can provide ways for organizing new forms of work with less dependence on the employer and increased flexibility and collaboration among workers. Many cooperatives also exist at the interface of people working as self-employed individual producers, such as farmers, fishermen, artisans, with SMEs who rely partly or totally on cooperatives to transform or commercialize their products or services, or to provide them with key production inputs. Although cooperatives do not employ these producers, they provide them with critical production tools to carry out their economic activities, so employment under these work forms can be maintained and strengthened, allowing them to compete on the marketplace. All of these facts need to be well documented. Having a solid evidence base is essential to quantify the impact of cooperatives on their members, workers, and the economy as a whole. If we want to show how cooperatives contribute to the SDGs, we need to have internationally comparable data based on a basic common understanding with respect to definitions, categories, frameworks. Cooperative movements and researchers have been very resourceful in advancing the field, and some countries have established good practices. Despite these efforts, however, to date, reliable and comparable statistics on cooperatives have been missing in most countries of the world. Toward addressing this challenge, the ILO has been involved in joining forces with the cooperative movement, working towards developing international guidelines on the measurement of cooperatives. A resolution concerning statistics of cooperatives was adopted by the 19th International Conference of Labor Statisticians, held in Geneva in October 2013, underlining the importance of having comprehensive and internationally comparable statistics on cooperatives. Since then, further developmental work was undertaken by the ILO and members of the Committee for the Promotion and Advancement of Cooperatives, COPAC, including a conceptual framework for the measurement of cooperatives, along with studies on work and employment in cooperatives, economic contribution of cooperatives, and classification of cooperatives. On October 18, 2018, guidelines on statistics concerning cooperatives were adopted at the 20th International Conference of Labor Statisticians, held at the ILO in Geneva. We are now gearing toward pilot country activities in partnership with cooperative researchers and statisticians from national statistic offices. We welcome your suggestions for potential pilot countries for collaboration. We wish you a successful conference and look forward to future work together. Thank you.